I'm the test. I am the test.
Yeah.
All right. It's good. It's good to see y'all.
We're far away.
Talk about it. It's good to see y'all. We're going to be on page 209 in the freedom of the body. And my body's been trying to break loose for a long time, so it's trying to make it's trying to make its escape.
That's right.
And I'm going to start at the very top of page 208, the section 2313. And even if it's something you've covered, then give us a chance to cover it again and hear it some more. I repeat, belief of another kind can foster the creation of form of another kind. Belief of another kind can foster the creation of form of another kind. So that's saying to me that if I have another kind of belief, I can create another kind of physical reality.
That's cool.
Okay?
Yeah.
And it says a wholehearted belief in the truth about yourself is what is required to cause this to be so. So therefore, he's telling me that if I want to be able to manifest something different in my life, it rests on my ability to believe the truth about myself. So you have to believe the truth about yourself completely before you can have a different thought that manifests a different reality. And that might explain something. I said it again. I have to know the truth about myself before I can create another form through my belief. Like we always hearing this stuff about our thoughts create our reality. Sometimes it seems like it isn't true. What I just heard is that it seems like it isn't true because I don't know the truth about myself. And without knowing the truth about myself, I can't really see myself take a thought and create another physical reality. So the reason why a person doesn't create what they want to create is they don't believe the truth about themselves. So I'll show you how simple the truth is. And what is the truth about yourself? That it takes another kind of thought to create another kind of form. That the truth about yourself is that you're innocent. The truth about yourself is that you are an unlimited being, a child of God. That's the truth about yourself. So he says unless you believe that, then you want also to believe in your ability to change your physical reality through just changing your thoughts. They're one and the same. Believing that I can change my physical reality is me believing I'm a child of God with unlimited power. They're the same thing. But if I think I'm a human being that's at the effect of everything that's happening to me, obviously I don't believe that it's my thought that's creating my reality, I just change it. So it's always easy to tell who really believe metaphysical truth. You can always tell who believe metaphysical truth by how they approach the solving of their problems. You can tell by how much they think that they're going to get whatever it is they're trying to do through manipulating the outer, or whether they'll tell you what I need to do is change my mind so that I can change my experience. Okay, so it says it will change the world. Say it's what's necessary now. Like in the world that we're in today, people need to understand that there's not anything happening in the world that we aren't creating. Instead of sitting around blaming each other for it. Okay, so it says belief of another kind is what miracles are all about. In other words, if we have another kind of belief, it's a miracle. It's a miracle if we change our minds. It's a miracle. It is. It's a freaking miracle if we really think differently. That's a miracle. You know, walking water is nothing. You know, I can do that every time it rains. But I walk water every time it rains. Time I spend up in the bathtub, I'm walking on water. I've already accomplished that. So it says a belief of another kind is what miracles are all about. It is what you are all about as a miracle worker. So that means that if I'm a miracle worker, then I'm about bringing about beliefs of another kind. So a miracle worker is a person who's bringing other beliefs into the world. The beliefs that are true into the world. The beliefs that are loving into the world. That's a miracle worker. I think it's very simple concepts. I mean, when you really think about it, any kind of funny that we say is hard to understand. It's like if you want to have a different kind of experience, you have to have a different kind of idea. But you're not going to let that idea manifest until you know the truth about yourself. What's the truth about yourself? The truth about yourself is that you're here to bring new beliefs into the world. You're not here to believe what everybody else believes. That's why classes like these are generally small classes. It's because we're being told the opposite of generally what we've been taught to believe. that's how we know it'll work. Because we already live in the experience of the beliefs of the world. So you already know what it's like to project. You already know what it's like to be jealous. You already know what it's like to blame others. You already know what it's like to feel like you're limited. You already know, in other words, like we already know what the world thinks is like. We grew up in the world. So the truth says something very radical. Okay, if the thoughts that the world has, if that's producing the world, then obviously if you want a different result, you have to think just the opposite of that. Now here's the challenge though. You're asked to believe just the opposite of everything you see while you're still seeing it. You know what I'm saying? It's like I still feel jealous, but I'm being asked to see the opposite of that, which is security and peace. You know, or it's like I'm being asked to believe that abundance is my natural state, while I might think that I'm still having a hard time paying my bills. So at the beginning, it looks like you're being asked to believe just the opposite of what you're seeing. I'm asked to believe in this unlimited love that was created by God, that anything I decree is what I experience, right? And so it's saying that's the opposite when it looks like right now you're the victim of your experience and you're dealing with some stuff that it seems like you can't control. So so the hardest part is the beginning. 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 So it says, for you to change your beliefs is the miracle that we're after. See the joke of that? For you to change your beliefs is the miracle that we're after. The result we seek from the course. Okay, so what is the result that we're seeking from the course? You should have changed your beliefs. What should be the result of studying the course of love? You should have changed your beliefs. Any questions or comments about what I've covered so far?
So, Earl, so I recognize that, like, I'm responsible, that I am creating, like I was telling a friend today, that I am creating this experience, that everything I see out here, if I don't like it, I'm creating it. And I am responsible.
Right.
But I don't know how to change it. So then I'm asking God to, what will it take for me to change this in ways beyond my wildest imagination. So that's like a huge step, right? That's like the first step.
That is the thing to do. That is the right thing to do. That is the step to do. That is correct. Continue to do that. Do you know what the problem is with these new ideas and beliefs? People expect it to work when they say it one time. It's funny. It's funny how a person will think that it doesn't work because they tried it one time. And it's not even conscious that we do that. It's like, well, I said I created my reality, but everything hasn't changed. You find yourself thinking that. Well, I said that I'm the one, and the truth is you only said it once. And think about how many times you repeat the other stuff over and over and over and over and over again. I'm not enough, I'm not enough, I'm not enough, I'm not enough. Like things will go right, things back. I'm worried about losing my job. Just think about how much you repeat the fearful stuff over and over, and then you turn on the TV and it gets reinforced, and you talk to your friends. Okay, compare how many thousands of times you're hearing something other than the truth. And then we think that we can say the truth one time, half-heartedly. And our whole experience is supposed to change, or the truth doesn't work. And the funny thing about the truth is that powerful, that you actually can say the truth and remember the truth one time and change everything. And every time that you remind yourself of the truth, it has more power than you can imagine over all those thousands and thousands of thoughts that you might have that are opposite to the truth. It doesn't take as long to undo the wrong thinking as it took to acquire it. It doesn't take nearly as long to undo the problem as it takes to make the problem. That's what's so cool about what we're learning. Because if it's the truth, it has the ability to dispel anything that's not truth. And us not being love is not truth. Us not deserving love is not truth. Us not deserving to be happy is not truth. It's built in that we're going to succeed in having the fulfilled, healed life that we want to have. It's built into the system. It's going to happen. So what's the advantage of believing it's going to happen no matter what you see or going through right now? The advantage of believing that it's going to happen, no matter what you're going through right now, is that you'll be patient. Every time you're certain of how something is going to turn out, you feel patient. If I'm waiting at a bus stop and I'm certain the bus is going to come, I'm patiently standing there waiting because I'm certain the bus is going to come and what time it's going to come. So patience comes with certainty. And so the more you tell yourself, I'm loved by something that cannot fail, and no matter what I try to do to screw me up and everything up, I'm still gonna turn out all right. I don't even know how, then you're gonna be patient, because impatience is coming from not really being sure of how it's gonna turn out for you. And as long as you don't think that you're the one that's got to deliver it, you can pull it off. The fear and the pain come from you coming up with an idea for yourself, and then you trying to figure out how to do it, and you don't know how to do it, and that's when you become impatient, because you have no certainty, because you don't know how to do it. So the highest level of consciousness that one can go to is a level of consciousness where they're letting God or the source begin to take care of the details and the things that they don't know how to do. It's like you reach that level of consciousness that you can't go any further on your spiritual path with the idea that you're alone and got to do it on your own. That's where you are now. That's where I am now. This whole idea that I'm going to figure it all out and I'm going to do it by myself, it won't fly no more from this point on in your spiritual development. In your spiritual development, you really have come to that point where you're going to have to heal your sense of separation from God, from the Creator, from love, from the source, however you define that. It ain't about nothing but you and your Creator now, and your relationship to your Creator. And then that's going to be the easiest way through life, because then you allow things to be done for you and through you, rather than you trying to figure out how to do it all by yourself, which is the hard way. So you're getting ready to go into the easiest way, but the scariest way to your ego, the scariest way to the part of you that thinks you're on your own. So I know that on one level, what these truth books say are terrifying to the part of you that doesn't know how to do it. And then it's soothing to your soul that knows it's the truth. So you keep on coming, even though another part of you don't know what the hell you hearing or what's going on. You know, me too. You follow what I'm saying? We run right into love. Or love is run right into us. And so we are miracle workers. We are here to bring new beliefs into this physical reality, to remember who we really are, so that we can have new beliefs that can foster the creation of a different form. And go to the movie. And go dancing, and walk through the park, and hang out with friends, and party. That doesn't preclude any of that happening. As a matter of fact, the fun places you go to are just you going on it's like, what you call it when those people do, when they go to other countries to help people out, what they call it? Missionary. Yeah, you're going to do your missionary work in Acapulco. You know, you're going to do your missionary work in Hawaii. You're going to do your missionary work skiing in Aspen, if that's what you like. Because it still will bring you into contact with people that you can bring a different kind of belief system and energy into. As a miracle worker, that's your job. You can do it in places that you like, because unless you're doing it in places like that you like, you won't be motivated to stay there and do the work. So nothing that loves you is going to ever put you into something you wouldn't want to be in, because that'd be contrary to its purpose. So only something that's crazy would always set up obstacle courses for you to be able to want to do your function. It would be much smarter to get you to do your function by the sheer pleasure and enjoyment and fulfillment that you're getting out of it. That should be the thing that motivates you, is the fact that you're motivated to eat your favorite ice cream just because it's your favorite ice cream. Nobody's gonna have to force you to eat your favorite ice cream. So if I wanted you to eat ice cream, I'd just offer you your favorite ice cream. And then you would do exactly what I wanted you to do, which was eat the ice cream. And while you're eating the ice cream, you should be remembering that your beliefs create your reality. The truth about you is that you're unlimited and that you're a miracle worker, and you're here to introduce new beliefs and thoughts into the world. Why are you eating your favorite ice cream? Whatever. It's set up for you to have happiness. God's will for you is complete happiness. God's will for you is complete happiness. Complete happiness. The Course in Miracles defines perfect as complete. I always thought that was interesting, that when I thought about the word perfection, I used to think about it meaning being in some state before that's not beyond any more improvement or change. And in the Course says, no, perfect has nothing to do with never making a mistake. Perfect is about there's nothing missing in you, that you're whole, that you're complete, that there's nothing missing in you. There's nothing missing in you. So if you walk into a room and you believe there's nothing missing, then you are a miracle worker who's introducing new beliefs. And that's your function. And then you'll be taken care of. You'll always have what you need in the world, more than what you need if you do what you came here to do, which is to be happy. and understand that it's the beliefs that you've learned since you've been born that's keeping you from being happy. So a miracle worker is just trying to undo the erroneous thoughts that keep them from being happy. That's it. That's all we're supposed to be doing. Undoing the ideas that don't get us off. And you know what ideas they are. They're the ideas that you don't feel good when you think of them. It's not even a mystery. So for most people, that's most of your thoughts all day. You know, most people, we feel so guilty that we punish ourselves all day through the thoughts that we have all day because we're simply trying to feel bad. Because we think feeling bad is what good people do when they've been bad. Right? Good people, when they think that they've done something bad, they think they need to be punished, right? So what better way to punish yourself than to give yourself thoughts all day that make you feel bad and make you feel afraid? And no one else has to even help you with that. You can just do that on your own. You don't need nobody's help. But sometimes if you really want help in feeling bad, you form a special love relationship. And sometimes when you want help in feeling good about yourself the fastest, you form a holy relationship. A holy relationship is nothing but a special love relationship where you don't have the fear in it. A holy relationship is just a special love relationship is nothing but a relationship, the Course says, that's unlike the love of God. It's a love that's special. It's a love that's exclusive. It's a love that doesn't include everybody else. And let's face it, we count on God's love including everybody. We don't count on God's love just being for me. And so the Course and other truth books say, well, you're right. Real love is, it goes to everyone equally. So you just need to face it. Y'all not giving each other real love. Now you can dress it up any way you want to, and you can make it as cute as you want to make it, and you can come up with every excuse in the world for not loving everybody, but that ain't real love yet. So if you have an exclusive love relationship or a separate love relationship, then use that relationship to be miracle workers for each other, which means to use that relationship to remind each other that your beliefs of another kind can create a reality of another kind. Never let each other forget that you have the power to change your experience through your thought. That's the greatest partner you could have, is somebody who, when you forget you're innocent, they remember you are. When you forget that you're a spiritual being, they remember you are. When you're trying to make yourself feel bad, they'll remind you of all the wonderful, beautiful things. If you're going to hang out with somebody, what other reason would you want to be with them besides that and some good sex? You know what I'm saying? You don't leave that out, if it's a romantic relationship. But if there are other kinds of relationships, then there's other things that need to happen. But, I'm just being straight up. There ain't nothing wrong with remembering God and orgasm too. Nothing wrong with that.
Darn it.
That's right. Is that right?
That's right. That's right.
Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, all right. Now, what was the other thing? You had your hand up again.
Well, because you were saying that, I could do a missionary work in Acapulco and Hawaii. So could my...
Could what now?
And this is going to sound funny, but I'm being serious too, but it's going to be funny. But could my missionary work include slow dancing with a woman?
What kind of dancing?
Slow dancing with a woman.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything that you can think of in the world that you would like to do could be used as an opportunity to give and receive love. Everything in the world is neutral. 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 You're either using it for love or using it for fear. You're either using it for joy or you're using it for pain. But everything in the world is neutral. Neutral, 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 neutral. If it's the enemy in a war and you kill an enemy, then you say that was a good thing to do. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that we have the ability to take anything and look at it any kind of way we want to make it any kind of way we want it to be. So that's how we know it's neutral, because we can change it around and make it cool or uncool. You're in a war, you kill somebody, you're a hero. You do the same thing with somebody else you think is your enemy right in your hometown, you go to jail. There's still two people you thought was your enemy. But if one was defined differently. But the same thing happened in both cases. That's the way everything is in the world. It's nothing but us making up meanings and assigning meanings to everything, and then getting upset if everybody else don't live according to our meaning. That's why people are upset. That's all judgment is. All judgment is I'm going to walk in this room and I'm going to put, bam, my meaning on everything that you're doing, and I'm going to deal with you according to my meaning. And so I never see you, I just see my judgments. So I don't even know who you are. So the truth comes up and says, well, I'm going to tell you who they are on the other side of your judgment. I know you judge your father as no good son of God. That's your judgment. But on the other side of that perception of him is the Holy Son of God that's totally innocent, that's totally powerful, that's creating his reality, and you're creating your reality. On the other side of your judgments of your father is a loving being that could give you some love if you weren't blocking it with your judgments. That's why it says judgment hurts you. It's because it denies, it's like a shield. It's just like a shield that blocks the sunlight of your good. of your prosperity. But it's like a shield. It's like you just take like that light is up there, it's all the abundance and all the happy life that I want. All I have to do, this is what my judgment does. And then where am I? I'm in the shadow, which is what we call the fear, the lack, the anger, the being alone, and all. It's just being in the shadow. It's just my grievances, my past, the things that I'm telling myself all day, they're blocking the light. Is the light there on the other side? Sure it is. When will I be in the light again? As soon as I let go of my judgment. How do I let go of my judgment? Well, the easiest way is to give yourself a different set of beliefs than the ones that you already have. How do I do that? You repeat it to yourself over and over and over again until you change your mind. You remember it every day. Remember what? That belief of another kind produces form of another kind. I will not be able to change my experience until I believe the truth about myself. The truth about myself is that I'm an innocent mind and an unlimited being of God. And that I'm here to think different kind of thoughts that most people in the world think. And if I do that, the miracle will occur and I have achieved the goal of this course. Yeah.
I just want to make a comment that, you were mentioning how that saying of, in the name of my freedom, I release you.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I have to say it seriously, like 200 times a day,
Mm-hmm.
but it works.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that I have to say it 200 times a day probably isn't great, but immediately
You're going to tell yourself
when I
something 200
hear-
times a day.
What?
You're going to tell yourself
Yeah.
something 200 times a day.
Right.
So
But
just
then
will be that.
The second I hear the words in my head, my freedom,
Mm-hmm.
like it changes everything. I'm like, my freedom, this is all I have to do for my freedom. And then bam, it's gone.
That's
Until,
right.
5 seconds later.
Yeah, so absolutely. Well, you just remember, all you have to do is practice the truth in 10-second increments.
Yeah.
Just practice the truth in 10-second increments. Can I be sane for 10 seconds? Oh, the next 10 seconds. The next 10 seconds. The next 10 seconds. The next 10 seconds. I'm amazed at how negative my thoughts can get sometimes. I'm just shocked sometimes. And it's like a part of my mind knows exactly what to focus in on to make me feel the worst. Because it's me doing it to myself, so why wouldn't I know? Well, how is that possible? I'm the one that's passing the information. I'm the one that's passing the information on to the part of my mind that's giving it back to me. That's how it knows what to say. And it took me a while to get that the only reason that I'm continually doing that to myself is that it's a way for me to keep from knowing my power, from knowing my joys. There's something in me that thinks that it's not okay for me to feel good all the time, and that it's actually dangerous. It's unrealistic and it's impractical. And if you do that, you're just setting yourself up for some kind of disappointment. But if you expect disappointment all the time when something good happens, it's a pleasant surprise. You get a chance to go, oh, well, wow, wasn't that great? But you know what it's normally like. Now, and some of you might be in that state of mind that most of the time you're really feeling good. So great, rejoice with us, be happy for us. You know what I'm saying? But the way we get to the point that we're happy all the time is you got to take a look at your mind and be honest about what's in it. So because I say to you, I'm aware that there's a part of my mind that makes me feel bad, does not mean I'm not aware that behind that is the truth, that I'm the one that's creating that. You know what I'm saying? So to heal each other, you remember the truth for each other, but you don't correct each other, and you don't fix each other, and you don't tell the person what it is they need to be thinking, unless they ask you. So then you give them an opportunity to heal. For instance, if I was to say, my thoughts are making me feel very, very depressed about something right now, and you jumped out and you said, well, it's just you creating that right now. It's just your beliefs doing that right now. You actually are creating separation. Yeah. You're not creating a healing at all. You're telling the person they're wrong. You're telling the person they're wrong. And so it'd be much better to know that they just need a safe place to take a look at their own thoughts so that they can let it pass on. It's like taking something out of my pocket and looking at it before I can give it away. Doesn't mean I've forgotten who I am because I've taken my handkerchief out of my pocket and I'm looking at it. So just because you're taking the handkerchief of your fear or your guilt or your insecurity or your anger and you're taking that thought and you're looking at it, it doesn't mean that you haven't forgotten that you were the one to make that thought and you got a choice of thinking another one. You just didn't know it was in your pocket, and that explains the bump that was there that you were uncomfortable about. All of a sudden you're seeing what it is that's causing your pain, so then you can let it go. But as long as you don't know it's there, you're going to be feeling the pain, but you won't know where it's coming from. See, and so a part of the stage of the truth is just you being honest with yourself about all your thoughts. And that's it. Just being honest. That's all you're being asked to do. Say, you know, okay, I have some thoughts in my mind that depress me. I need another kind of thought to create another kind of form. So I have to believe the truth about myself, which is that I have the power to change my mind. That's the truth about myself. And I need to remember that in every situation I go in as a miracle worker, and it will change the world. That's what it just said. That will change your world. And you know what's a trip about the truth? It's always something you can do now. That's another reason why it's not too popular. Because you can do it now. And we're used to always having goals that take time to achieve as a way of slowing down our happiness. It's a plan to keep yourself miserable, to always make everything that would make you happy something that it takes time to have. Okay, so if I make my happiness dependent on having a flat screen TV that I got to save money up before I can buy it, I know that's an ego desire because it's requiring me to wait for happiness. And the truth never requires you to wait for it. If somebody really loves you and they're letting love come into, they are not asking you to be patient to receive their love. That's what a fearful person does. And that's cool too, because they're saying, I need some time to let go of my fear with you. That's cool, but you could also be having it right now. I meet people who love me instantly, who would say, everything I have is yours. I have no blocks to you. I can trust you. I know you're cool. I know, I meet women like that. I meet men like that, who just instantly trust me. And they don't put me through any other proving myself stuff, And so that came from me wanting to change my mind about the way I was thinking about what was possible. Because I was told that was impossible, that couldn't happen. So as a miracle worker, I had to change my beliefs so I could have a different form that's happening. And I still meet parts of myself that still say, I gotta wait a little while before I show you allow the love to come through. I gotta wait a little while. And you know how I deal with them? I say, you know what? That's perfectly okay for me. Tell me what it is that you need that I could support you and be able to do that. You can set up the boundaries, you can set up the agreements, you can say what you're not ready for me to do right now. You can set up the whole thing, and I will honor that. In the meantime, I'm going to let myself receive the love that's also coming to me right now. That way I won't get upset with you because I'm being denied something, because I let myself have it while you decide whether or not you want to give it to me. That way you can feel peaceful about how long you want to wait. I'll be patient because I'm not lacking nothing, because I'm having a good time with somebody else. And everybody's happy. But I used to be so selfish and fearful that I wouldn't give a person the love, and then he wouldn't want them to have it from nobody else while I was deciding. That's how crazy, that's how selfish I used to be. I would not give a person love and be absolutely watching them like a hawk to make sure nobody else did. I've seen couples that haven't touched each other in 20 years get jealous when somebody else say hello to their mate. With them all the time, don't give them no affection whatsoever, totally afraid of them, but think somebody else is going to give them some? When you look at that objectively, isn't that cruel? I mean, when you just really think about it, isn't that cruel?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I'm not going to treat you right. I'm not going to give you love, but you better not let nobody else love you, though. Nobody else better not appreciate you. That's not someone who loves you. That's someone who fears you. Sometimes hate is too strong a word for people. So I love the word fear, because the Course in Miracles teaches that there's nothing your ego doesn't want you to say more than, I am afraid of my ego. So the ego is the part of the mind that wants you to think that it's everything else outside of your mind that's making you afraid. It doesn't want you to get, oh, it's my own ego, and I'm afraid of what I'm going to do to me. That's what I'm really afraid of, is what I might do to me, even more than what I'm afraid of what you might do to me. But the part of me that wants to do me in wants me to think it's you that wants to do me in. That way I won't know it's my own mind creating it, so I can stop it. So if I go, right now I'm feeling afraid of my ego. Right now I'm feeling afraid of my ego. If I say that, then my ego won't attack me, because that proves that I'm right. And so then my ego becomes my focus, getting rid of my false ideas. That's the ego. My false beliefs. All of a sudden I'm taking all of my attention, instead of trying to change you all, I'm taking all my attention and focusing on changing my own ego. And that's the last thing it wants. It wants me to be trying to change you. You know. It's interesting too that when you form relationships with people like I'm trying to form now, where you're no longer trying to control them in any way and tell them that they're totally free to do whatever they want to do and you're still gonna love them no matter what. People think that that means there's no structure to the relationship and no purpose. And I always think that's interesting. They actually say that they think the relationship has no purpose if you say something like that. It's like, and I understand it because I had that same temptation and still do from time to time because I'm so used to someone trying to structure and restrict me in some way that I don't know how to deal with someone who actually says, I'm free and really let me be that free because then I got to take total responsibility for my own life and my own happiness. That's the thing I don't like about freedom.
Yeah.
Right, you free, well that means that you're truly responsible for your experience of your life. Where before I could hold somebody else responsible and then blame them if it didn't turn out right. That's what fear does very easily. You know, I'm amazed at how obsessed I can become about something that I know isn't good for me that I need to let go of. Yeah, especially if it's a person. You know, it's like everybody can be treating you well, and then one person that seems like they're not available is the one you focus all your attention on. It's like the one who, you know, it's like, that's what I want you bad. You know why? Because I'm the last person you want. So I need your approval and your validation to make me okay. You know. So anybody else before I go on?
That was fabulous.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
It really was.
Yeah. It's like I like what comes through me, but not from me. I love what happens when I can get out of the way enough to let it come through me. You know what I'm saying? Because I know God wants me to hear it because it's coming through me. So I absolutely know who it applies to the most. I have a real personal relationship with the truth. It comes through me. So it's trying to really change Earl Purdy. You know, it's like, because I've had it. I don't know about y'all. I have friggin' had it. I've had it up to here with this insanity that I'm seeing in my own mind.
Yes.
Because I'm looking at my own mind when I'm looking at the world. I'm looking at my own mind when I'm looking at the world. I'm looking at my own mind when I'm looking at the world. I'm looking at my own. That's how you can get out of it now. As if you think you got it all together more than anybody else. It's like, you know, do you see it anywhere in your world? Yes, well, it's in your mind. Oh, Lord, and I can't pretend I don't have no angry thoughts. Well, I see anger in the world. I can't pretend I don't have some thoughts of sickness. I see some sickness in the world. I can't pretend I don't have some thoughts of abundance and wealth because I see abundance and wealth in the world. I can't pretend that there's not some beautiful relationships out there for me. Why? Because I see some beautiful relationships in the world. So anything you see is in your own mind. And then you have to side with it to create it because nothing is created without a joining. There's nothing that's created without union. And we try to do it alone, and that negates our manifestation. Trying to do it alone always negates your manifestation. So if you want something to happen, you have to join, either with an idea in your mind or with another person or both. So if something negative happens in my life as I perceive it, it's only happened because I had a negative thought in my mind and I said, yes, I agree with you. And then it manifested because I joined with the idea. But I could have every kind of fearful thought in the world, but if I don't say yes to it in the sense of me wanting to side with it, it'll never have the power to become physically manifested in my world. So it's not like your thoughts have to be positive all the time. You just have to know which thoughts to act on. Not that you're not going to have all kinds of thoughts, but I might have the thought that I need to come up and smack you upside your head if you doing something I don't like. But it's okay. As a matter of fact, it's important that I admit to myself that I have that thought so that I can choose against it. Because if I have that thought of hitting you and I'm not conscious of it, I will hit you before I'm conscious of it. And that explains why people do things that they don't understand what they do. The thought's there, they're denying it. It gets so strong that they agree with it, and then they act and they say, hey, I don't know why I went upside your head like that. I don't know what came over me. Yeah, what came over them was that something that they were denying was making itself manifest for them to see. Where if they had just gone ahead and admitted they wanted to hit you upside the head, they probably wouldn't. That's why sometimes the nicest people are on top of a building shooting people. Because they've been so busy trying to be nice that they haven't really been honest about all their feelings and emotions. And we have to watch that in the spiritual path. Where we get to this stage that we think being spiritual means lying all the time about all your feelings. which is a very popular spiritual path. I will just pretend that I love everybody and everything is great all the time in order to make it that way. And you're not really taking the stuff out your pocket that's hurting you because you're pretending it's not there. Of course, that's just being positive mean. There is no poverty thought in my pocket because it's all good. And then I'm wondering where the poverty, because what is coming from the poverty in your pocket that you're refusing to admit is there. That's what you're looking at. Take it out. Oh, this is my poverty thought. That is brown too. And that's why this stuff has been happening. Or you know what? I just put you over there, poverty thought, and I'll stop using you. But if I'm not willing to admit it's there, then it's doing its thing, and I'm trying to be positive and don't understand why I'm such a positive person having such a negative experience. Why am I such a positive person having such a negative experience? Well, it's still, the poverty's in your pocket. And now you're glad to see it. And is it glad to see you? You know? I mean, the answers are so simple that they have been hard to understand. The answers are so simple, they're hard to listen to. That's what I find out, okay? You know. Now, okay, all right.
All right.
Okay, all right.
So,
I want some other people to ask stuff besides just Chris.
I asked stuff.
Well, then I'm not talking to you. And I'm serious. Please feel free to communicate, because then it seems like one person is dominating the entire class, even though it's not true. But it would seem like it. And it does, you know what I'm saying?
So if you're
Yeah.
aware that you're putting restrictions on a relationship, I would love you if, or I want you to do this, how do you absolve that?
By recognizing that that attitude is not going to get you what you want. The easiest way to stop doing something is not because you see it as bad or good, but by telling yourself, doing this is not going to get me what I want. Because there's nothing we want more than what we want. So if I was to really get to trying to control you would not give me what I want, which is peace and freedom and joy and power in my life and abundance in my life. If somebody told me every time I tried to control you, that would be the same as taking $50 out of my bank account. All of a sudden I would become more motivated not to try to control you because it would look like it was depriving me of something I want. So you don't really become a more loving person for the other person. You actually become a more loving person for what it does for you. That it actually is going to make your life easier, and you're not going to be going to a job that you hate, and you're going to be able to pay your bills, and you're going to look at it correctly. In other words, the truth knows that we are of a mind that is selfish, and which comes out of fear. And so it uses our own desire for self-preservation to move us toward treating each other right. I'll treat you right because I recognize how it will heal me in my life. That's the easiest way to get me to change than to try to convince me I should do it because it's going to make you feel better. If I felt that way, I'd already be enlightened. If I already believed that it was about you being happy, I would already be enlightened. So it's got to get to the point that I'm doing the things that I'm doing so that I can have love within myself and peace within myself. So as long as a person wants to think that they can control other people, then they're going to want to make the other person change in order for them to be happy. Because that's really what most people think a relationship is. And if you don't do that, you're selfish. Like you're accusing me of selfish in a relationship if you aren't constantly not doing what you want to do so that the other person can be happy. That's the world's definition of love. It's always sacrifice. So the minute you begin to wake up and you realize that love isn't sacrifice, it's really about being true to yourself, then you're going to be accused of being selfish. You're going to hear that more than you've ever heard in your life. You're so selfish. You're so selfish. Why? Because you won't let me control you.
That's what that is?
Yeah, you're selfish because you won't let me control you. You know, you're doing what you want to do and not what you're doing what you want to do and not what I want you to do. So therefore, you're selfish. But what am I wanting you to do? What I want you to do. So I'm no different from what I'm accusing you of doing. I want to have it my way. You saying I want to do it my way, and then I'm accusing you of being selfish for saying that. But I'm mad at you because you won't do it my way. So we doing exactly the same thing, calling each other selfish. And so I'm just saying, when you decide to really be happy and really be true to yourself, don't let what other people tell you affect you a sense of, because I'm telling you, people who like to manipulate and control always accuse the people they are trying to manipulate and control of being selfish. And that's how you can tell when you listen to somebody who's trying to manipulate you. They're going to call you selfish. And so to me, that's like oh, I'm selfish. Ah, you just revealed to me that you are trying to control me and you're really not giving me love.
Yeah.
Instead of me going, well, what can I do? What can I do to please you? What can I do to make you feel better? You know, when they happen now, because they have set it up where you have the job of making them happy and they have to take no responsibility for their own experience. That's a good deal for them. You know, so I can understand why people try to manipulate people through guilt. It seems easy, except that what you do is create a world full of manipulators just like you. So you'll end up being surrounded by people who are trying to control you all the time and telling you how selfish you are all the time. That's why I don't want to do that stuff, because I don't want to live in a world of people with that kind of mindset, so I can't have it myself, even if it looks like I could manipulate. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times people think if someone's in a position like what I'm doing, it's real easy to like manipulate people and try to get them to do what you want them to do. You know, especially women. You know, because you just really, you know, you're a man. It goes like, hey, I can take my powers and teach you, just work my will. You know, and it's like, if I know she is me, why would I want to manipulate myself like that? No conscious being is going to try to manipulate anybody, because they know they would just be trying to manipulate themselves, and so therefore they would create a reality of manipulators. You see what I'm saying? So, and plus, if you begin to know what love is, you wouldn't want love that you had to manipulate into being. You know that the best person for you would be the one that was open and receptive to you in terms of giving and receiving. And that they wouldn't be afraid. Or if they were, they'd tell you. And then you could go beyond your fear together, because maybe you have some too, but y'all both got the same goal. So you're willing to work together to let that fear go. And then you have this relationship that gets closer and closer and closer. And that's a holy relationship. It's a relationship that the purpose of it is for both of you to help each other remove the blocks to love. And that's not going to happen with somebody you cussing out and blaming and beating up every day. That's contrary to the goal. I would think if our goal together was to be peaceful and I was like cussing you out every day, that would be contrary to the goal of the relationship. And so if you know what your purpose is, it makes it easier to know how to treat each other. But if you don't have no purpose other than I don't want to grow old alone, then you might not grow old alone, but you won't be having no good time.
Now, Earl, I want to ask you, where you said, right now I'm feeling afraid of my own ego.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, it's like sometimes when you begin to allow love and really cool things to happen to you, you be afraid that you're going to create something that's going to make it all go wrong.
Yeah.
Or that's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
So you kind of like walking around looking for the piano to fall out of the sky because things have been going so good. It's like a part of my mind is under that kind of terror right now. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, see, it's one thing for everything to go pretty cool a day or two. But then when all of a sudden it's been going really, really good for a week, you'll find that it'll start to bring up a little, well, when's the shoe gonna fall? And then just stretch that to 6 months. Your life has been pretty cool for about 6 months. Everything. See, another part, you go, oh my God, when is something gonna go? And then it just gets better. So could you imagine how much fear a part of your mind would have if it's been that way for 30 years, and that's what I'm experiencing? There's a part of me that's like, God damn, 30 years it's been going like, basically it's just been really, really good. And and on the problems I've had, just been the ones I personally introduced just because I was just trying to screw it all up. It wasn't even then because anything was happening from the outer to make it bad. And so it's a part of me that's like, oh God, sooner or later, the universe is gonna catch up with me. It's gonna realize I don't deserve all of this. What have I done to deserve this? Because that's what comes up. Because when love starts to treat you right, it'll kind of bring up your stuff because you won't see what you have done to deserve it. Because you're so used to having to earn love. but you don't have to earn love. You just have to earn specialness. And so you've been used to earning specialness, and love is treating you right, and you're not having to do anything, and then things are getting better and better, and then you feel more and more unworthy because you're going, why is it going this good? I'm not really a very nice person as like people think I am. You know what I'm saying? So I wonder why this is going on. You know, and so part of you is like, oh, something's going to catch up with me because it knows. And the Course has a lesson called Light and Joy and Peace Abides in Me, and that lesson specifically addresses that particular issue of feeling like if people really knew you, they really knew you, they wouldn't really feel this way about you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so, so what you have to be aware of is that love is not like specialness. Specialness is something you're always having to earn and defend and prove and cling to and try to hold on to proper behavior. But if it's love, it's being given to you freely with no conditions whatsoever. The sun doesn't go, Earl, I'll shine on you today if you go to the Subway and get a sandwich, you know what I'm saying? Then I'll shine on you. You know, it's gonna shine. It shines on me whether I'm depressed or whether I'm happy. That's the way love is. Specialness isn't like that. I'll give you my love if you're special, if you act right, and I'm gonna take it away if you don't. So I'm so used to having to earn people's love that now that love is functioning so much in my experience, it brings up the part of me that goes, well, what have I done to deserve this? I mean, I spent 11 days in England and London and Paris, and people were like really loving, and I was having an incredible time. I'm like kicked back on the river Seine, going down the rivers. The person that I was with had made a picnic, and I'm sitting up there eating, and it's like so beautiful and so cool. And I was gonna get ready to spend a day, sightseeing and looking up the Eiffel Tower. Sounds kind of perverted. Looking up the Eiffel Tower, and then. And I was like, this feels really good, you know. My life is really wonderful, you know. And then we got ready to get off the boat to go to the Eiffel Tower, and then I sprained my ankle, right? And so I'm like going, oh, this is perfect. This is perfect. I'm getting ready to check out Paris, and I felt good, right? Admitted I felt good. And as soon as you admit you feel good, that's when something bad's going to happen, you know. But if you say you feel bad all the time, then nothing bad happens because you already feel bad. So there's no way to go. It's a win-win. So all of a sudden, and so I immediately have learned from 30 years of doing this stuff and listening to the Course, I said, okay, this is a defense against the truth. This is a trick to make me think that I can't have a good time, and it's not okay for me to say my life is good. This is a trick. Now notice I didn't focus at all on my ankle and how to fix my ankle and what caused that, or blaming myself. I went to, oh, this is a trick to make me think it's not okay for me to have a wonderful time and to experience love. This is the Course says, call it a defense against the truth. It's just a trick you're playing on yourself to make you think that you're a body that has a hurt ankle, and that you're no longer a child of God, and that the day isn't going to go the way you want it to go. This is just a trick to make you forget the truth. That's what this is. That's where my mind goes now, not to all the other stuff. It's like, because I know I don't have to believe it. I know I don't have to accept it. I know I just have to say it, because the name of the game is to use every situation to remind you of the truth. So if you use every situation to remind you of the truth, then the painful situations will begin to end, because the part of you that's using the painful situations to make you forget the truth does not want you to use the painful situation to help you remember the truth. So every time something painful happened to me, I take it, okay, this is an opportunity for me to remember the truth, that I'm innocent, that this is a trick, that I don't have to suffer. And so that part of me, it doesn't want to give me as much crap as it used to, because it knows I'm going to go to God. It knows I'm going to go to the truth. It knows I'm not going to try to blame everybody out there for it most of the time. Most of the time. Sometimes I blow it. I completely blame, completely project, completely feel anger. And so that's okay too. That's one of my creations. Just like the creation of the cool stuff, I can have creations that are not so cool. So I don't even judge myself for my anger or projection like I used to. I just remind myself that they are a trick to make me think it's not okay for me to be happy and peaceful. So I got out of the boat, and I kept on, and I went, okay, first I acknowledge how I feel, and I don't try to pretend I don't feel it. I don't put as much weight on my foot. In other words, I'm going to do the physical things that anybody with common sense would do as a symbolic gesture to show I'm willing to be healed. Rather than to go, I'm a spiritual being, so therefore I'm just going to pretend that I did sprain my ankle and I'm just going to walk on it like I never sprained it in the first place because I'm going to be positive and that's going to change the whole thing. Then I would have been probably on crutches before the end of the day. Would have totally blown the day. But I didn't. Now when I need to stay off my foot and do what a sane person would do about their body, while I remember it's a trick to make me think I am a body and that I can't have my peace. And so the most unbelievable, believable thing occurred. I went ahead and went to a couple of places that took me like, I was like I went to Notre Dame, with the Hunchback of Notre Dame or whatever it was. It's a damn, I don't know, y'all know. Hunchback of Notre Dame, that's what I said. So anyway, and this place was so incredible, and it was built like 800 years ago, and for the life of me, I was just standing there going, how did they do it? How did they do this? You see things that your ego just goes poof, because it's just beyond what your ego can even comprehend. When I would see the size of the blocks and how it was carved and all this stuff, and I'm like going, we can do all of this, but can't forgive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't
Isn't that amazing? I'm flying in an airplane. It felt like I was in somebody's living room. It was so big, you know. And I was sitting next to this woman, and she left to go to the bathroom, and she came back, and she was another beautiful woman. Like another woman who wasn't sitting there before came back and sat beside me. Gorgeous.
Boy.
And I went, wow, you made quite a change when you went to the toilet, didn't you? and that started a real cool conversation. That we had a really cool time talking, you know what I'm saying? Because it was just me not trying to get anything.
Yeah.
It's amazing how my relationships with women are so wonderful now because I'm not trying to get them. You know, that I get a chance to see other dimensions of women, other than their body, just trying to get their body, that kind of programming that you get. You know, and so you see these other dimensions of people. And again, that's how you know whether somebody's for you or whether they just want to talk to you. Because there's no fear, there's no get. So you get a chance to experience. You know, I could have that nice experience and say, bye, good to see you. They have to go, hey, baby, what's your phone number? I see we can hit this up later. You know what I'm saying? Let's see, you get this on. You know, because if she really was someone I was supposed to do that with, I wouldn't have to really ask. She would have been saying, hey, you might want to, you know, give me a call sometime. You know, it's when you begin to wake up, you always know that that which is for you comes to you. It makes itself available. It lets you know. It doesn't leave any doubt in your mind. That's how you know it's yours. And so therefore, you're not afraid to lose it. Why? Because you know it's a real connection. How do you have real connections? You learn how to let go of every belief of another kind that's producing the opposite of what you want. That's how you do it. And you're totally gentle with yourself when you still do your old habits, which you are going to do. So the first thing you do is you make it okay to still do some of the stuff you used to do while you're learning how to do something different, because the truth needs a happy learner. And if you're not a happy learner, you're not going to want to continue to change. That's why I set up for, the course calls it learning through rewards. But then you'll get to a point on your spiritual path that they talk about in the Course of Love where it says you stop trying to do things for rewards. That you actually understand that it's not about rewards, it's just the way it is. You know, the way it is that you deserve this love. The way it is that you deserve peace. The way it is that you should be happy. It's nothing you've earned, it's something you allow. You go from earning to allowing. It's time for us to allow the relationships, allow the peace, allow the abundance, allow the connection to God. Let go of the idea of you're making it. You're not making anything anymore. You are allowing it. Allowing it. Allowing it.
So when you got off that boat,
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Right. And remember, because I want to tell you how to end it up.
There was still a part of you, though, right, that believed you pay for your pleasures with coins of suffering.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said. That the minute that it happened, I went, oh, this is me thinking I have to pay for this pleasure. That every time I have a pleasure, that's what I have to pay for with some kind of pain, some kind of, you know. So what I was really doing was paying for my trip. I was paying for that time. I was paying for it the way my ego had taught me to pay for it. But by me remembering that was happening, not denying that I had pain in my foot, and then still being determined to allow myself to feel peace without beating myself up, then the strangest thing happened within an hour or two. I was sitting in the boat. We had left the Eiffel Tower, and I was sitting in the boat, and I was telling my friend that that all of a sudden I noticed that my foot wasn't hurting anymore, that my ankle wasn't hurting at all anymore. And I mean, it was not, you know, when you sprain something, you know. Yeah. And I was like one day I sprung my ankle getting ready to come, I almost sprung it a few years ago, getting ready to go to a gathering. And it really hurt me. And all of a sudden it hit me like it never hit me before. It's like, my God, you know, I am self-employed. If I cannot do my thing, how would I make it? And it's like it hit me how much I realized, or how much I believed that my being taken care of was determined by how much I was able to teach. You know, and not God.
Yes.
You know, and that was like a real revelation. It was like, woo, I got to step this up and get out of denial. I got to have a level of consciousness that if my ankles had really been messed up to the point that I could not work, I would still have a consciousness that would provide for me, and that would be my connection with God. Because I didn't realize that I was doing the same thing with teaching that I would say to somebody else about whatever it was they believed that was keeping them from believing in God. But I thought since I was teaching God, somehow my thing was different. You know? And that's where your mind works. It always tricks you into thinking you're different. Instead of realizing, well, if you're telling everybody else that, then it's probably the thing you got to be the most aware of, right, Purdy? That you think is you taking care of yourself through your teaching ability and how well you do it and how well people like you and blah, 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 blah. You know, and so you gave yourself an opportunity to see exactly some of the things you would think if this happened, that you couldn't take care of yourself the way you were used to. I'm just gonna give you a little hint. Beep, sprained ankle. Suppose I couldn't make it. You see what I'm saying? Like all of a sudden you get a chance. Oh, thank you for showing me what it is I need to, what kind of thoughts I need to let go of quick, which is I am taking care of myself on my own. That thought has to go. And that's a hard thought to let go of because as adults, that's the main thought we are taught to believe. That if you don't see yourself as autonomous and doing it on your own, you're not really a mature member of society. And we don't realize the very programming that we're getting to allow us to be mature is actually the programming that's making us work so hard and struggle and have to do things on our own because we believe we have to do things on our own. So the universe cooperates and it seems as if nobody's helping you do anything. But you don't really realize it's that way because you believe you're autonomous and on your own and you're always saying you want to do it on your own. And the universe says, okay. And then now you're out here by yourself trying to make it, hoping somebody to help you out every now and then. But you don't know it's happening that way because of your own belief in autonomy. Your own belief that you're alone. Your own belief that you got to do it by yourself creates a reality where you're doing it by yourself all the time.
This seems like a silly question, but so how do I make that go away?
The way you make that go away is to do exactly what you're doing now, allowing yourself to hear the truth over and over again, that everything that's happening to you is simply coming from your own beliefs and your own thoughts, and that what you are experiencing right now is the result of your own belief in your own thought. So all you have to do now is give yourself new beliefs. Like for instance, what I was saying about my foot. I went, oh, this is a trick. This is a defense against the truth. This is a trick to make me think that I can't have peace and that I can't have happiness. It's as simple as telling yourself the truth about it. It's not, notice I didn't go into, oh, my body's an illusion and I really didn't sprain my ankle because my body doesn't exist anyway. See, I'm not going to let my ego run that stuff down on me like it used to, like I see it do with a lot of truth students. Like, I hear you. But right now, it seems like I actually am in this body because I think I'm feeling this pain. All right, so it might be an illusion, but I don't like how this feels. Sorry, it might be an illusion, but right now I don't like how this feels. How do I get rid of this feeling? Well, the truth says the way you get rid of the feeling is to use it as an opportunity to tell yourself the truth. And then people say, well, what is that? It's what's in the book you've been studying. Say something from the book you've been studying to yourself. What? say something from the book that you say you believe that you're studying. You don't say anything in the world. Don't say you have a cold because there's a germ in the air. That is what the world is teaching you. You would say, my cold is a defense against the truth. It's just a plan to make me think I'm not an unlimited child of God. Now I go get the flu medicine. First I tell myself the truth. Then I go do the thing in the physical world that I need to do that's symbolic of my willingness to be healed. So I'm the one that's creating it. And I'm going to show I'm willing to be healed by going to the store if I think I need to do that and to get the flu medicine. How do I know I need to go to the store and get the flu medicine? Because I haven't been able to get rid of the cold on my own. It's really that simple. How do you know you can't heal yourself yet? Because you still got the problem. So what should I do? Temporarily depend on external healing methods in order to achieve your goal. What does that mean? Go out, you want to lose 10 pounds, you haven't been able to do it with your mind, go jog as a symbol of your willingness to lose weight. And that's how you would lose weight. It's like, that's the way you're doing it. That's what you do. I'm going to have to stop because it's 8 o'clock and I got to do the love offering. Yeah, I know. So let's do that. Hold those questions, but I could feel it. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing with yourself. Thank you for giving what you'd like to receive. I really, really appreciate that so much. And so Sunday, 1 o'clock, we'll be back doing it. And I am looking forward to the next advanced mind heart training that I'm going to do soon. I haven't decided on a date yet, but I'm pretty sure it'll probably be the late May or early June because I still got a couple of things I got to take care of. Because it's time. It's time to go deep for a long period of time. I need to. Like, it's time for me to stop. I'm just getting warmed up. And because I'm ready for a change, a big change. And that simply means I'm ready to accept more of the truth. It's not really as dramatic as it sounds. It just means I'm more willing to do what I've been told than ever before because I finally began to let go of the belief that I have to understand something for it to work. Because that was what was slowing me down. I thought that unless I understood how it all worked, I couldn't do the solution. Like, for instance, I seem to sprain my ankle and I go, oh, this is a defense against the truth. This is a trick to make me think I can't have peace and happiness. It's so hard. It's like anybody could do that. A 5-year-old child could do that. And that's what we're being asked to do. But it would be something that would be the hardest thing in the world for me to remember to do or to have the willingness to do. But if you say, no, but what you need to do is go down to this building and put in an application, hope they get the resume, and then you got to go back the next day and you got to talk to that person, you got to hope that they hire you, then you got to go get some training for about 7 months before you even go there. I'll do that. But if someone says, this is a defense against the truth, I won't do it.
Yeah.
It's just so, and I'll say, I don't understand. But I understand going through all that other rigmarole. And I'm totally willing to do that. And so that's what I'm most proud of. What's going on with me right now is I'm having so much more of a willingness to just do what I'm told. Just do it, Earl. And then every time I do it, it works. Every time I actually do it, it works. And I always remember when I'm trying to do something for the first time that I've never done before, that's when I'm most likely to fail. And so I make my decision that I'm going to do it even if it looks like I failed at the beginning, because that's just another trick to make me stop. So, and you have to remember that the part of your mind that doesn't want to change is not going to just lay down and go, okay, go ahead, change. It's going to come up with its own plan to sabotage that. So when you say you want to make a big change, don't be surprised if it doesn't seem like it works out at first, because your old self is trying to prove to you that the new direction won't work. The old self is going to try to make you believe that what you're trying doesn't work. So when you first try to do something for the first time and you're trying to take it in a new direction for the first time, that's when you have to be the most patient with yourself if it looks like it doesn't go the way you want it to go. because that's when you're most likely to make it not work. To make yourself stop. You know, if I haven't trust women all my life, and all of a sudden I say, I'm going to trust women, it's a good chance I'm going to be attracted to the worst woman that could have ever showed up in my life, right? To prove to me that I should stay the same way I was and never change, because I'm afraid to open up and trust. Do you see what I'm saying? So when you first said you're going to change, be aware that that's when you're most likely to try to trick yourself to make you stop, and you have to make the decision, I'm going to do it anyway. And anyway, why is it so important for me to trust you anyway if all I want to do is give love? How can you manipulate me if all I want to do is give you love? So that's something else Spirit told me, that whole trust thing. Said, well, if all you want to do is give love, can't nobody use you anyway. So it doesn't really matter whether they're trustworthy or not unless you're trying to get something and you're afraid you're not going to get it from them. Oh, that's cold. That was the truth. It was like, oh, that's why I got the trust issue. Yeah, because you want to make sure you get something you want. But if you just were there to give, you wouldn't care if they was the biggest criminal in town. They couldn't take advantage of you because there was nothing you were trying to get from them. And you were only going to give what you want to give anyway. So, you know, what difference does it make what their motivation is? You were going to give it anyway. What difference does it make if they're sincere? You just want to give it anyway, right? And that's where Spirit talks to me. He's like, oh my God, I need to think about my laundry. You know, so so what was your question?
She can go first.
Oh, okay. So you were talking about, before you were talking about the poverty in your pocket and that we are worthy of abundance. And then later on you were talking about like the tricks that make you believe that you don't get to have it. And so what I guess my general question is that, like, does what you have begin to look like abundance when you become more free, I guess, and you become more satisfied with what you have, and you have more gratitude for that because you're becoming a little bit more enlightened? Or does like this course totally like change your energy where people like suddenly see how great you are and just want to give you more money?
It's the first one.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's the first one. It's the thing that has to do with the internal shift within yourself. Because what happens is it would be different. It's different. There's a difference between going out and trying to have abundance in your life based on the belief that there is lack. Because then you're going to look for something that you don't even believe is there. And so therefore you look for somebody else to give it to you. But if you know you have abundance and you are abundance, and the easiest way for me to get there is to believe that my abundance is supplied by something greater than me. Then I'm going out into the world to just receive what I already have. It's a difference between going out on a date on Saturday night believing that the person that you are going to go out with is the perfect person for you to go out with, than going out on a Saturday night hoping that the person you're getting ready to go out is the person to go out with. Because in one situation, you're just going out to receive what's already there. The other situation, you believe it's not there, and you're hoping it's there, so you're probably going to create a situation where it wasn't so enjoyable because you didn't really believe it was there to begin with. So it's better to believe that what you want is already out there, and you're just allowing the blocks to receiving it to be removed, than to think it's not out there, but you got to try to put it out there so you can have it. You see the difference? You know, Paris was already there. What I had to let go of every belief that would get me there. But it was already there. You see, and that's where every good thing in your life is. It's already there. You just have to let go of what you are telling yourself that keeps it from being there. Or you could take it the easier route and say, even though I don't believe it's there, I want it to be there anyway, and I want to see it anyway. You can ask Spirit to overrule your own ego. You can say, decide for me, God, in this relationship. Decide for me in this situation. Decide for me. I love that. If you says if you don't know what to do, you could just say, love or God, decide for me. And I need to say that wherever I'm not sure what I want. So it's either I'm deciding because I know what I want, or I'm saying God decide for me because I don't know what I want. Those are my two responses. Or, and now I'm trying to take it to the other level, which is just God decide for me. That I'm not even trying to come up with what I want.
And that's so cool, because you would never come up with it. Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know
Right.
what I want.
Right.
That's why I'm trying here, trying there, trying them, trying this, trying this. That's because you don't know what you're looking for. And then the course will say, the truth will say, well, let me tell you what you're looking for. You're looking for yourself. You're looking for the love that you are. You're looking for the power and the peace that you are. What you're looking for is you. And you want peace. That's what you really want. And all the things you're doing are the things you think are going to bring you peace. So why don't you just cut out the middleman and just ask for the peace? You know, that would be faster. And I'm like, that makes sense. I can't do it. Sorry, that makes sense. I will not do it. Why? Because there's a part of me that's still punishing myself for what I did Christmas Day.
Yeah.
I'm not through, I'm prom night. I'm still punishing myself for prom night, so I cannot let it happen right now. I'm punishing myself. And that's what you do when you do anything you feel guilty about. You do something you feel guilty about, you're going to say, I'm going to punish myself for doing that so I can be okay again. So I had a really good time, but now I'm going to give myself, this really weird rash. So it's like, why? Because I've got to follow up my pleasure with some kind of pain in order to pay for the pleasure. Do you remember what your question was now?
I mean, it's evolved and gotten all twisted.
Okay, so just realize that's the one thought that you need to forget. Like out of everything you've heard tonight, whatever it is you're focusing on right now, that's the one thing that it would serve you to just let it go. Because the purpose of it is to keep you from applying the other stuff that you did agree with and understand.
It always comes up.
That's what happens with everybody.
Always comes
Yeah, like we'll get, like the Spirit will give us
Question
20
that's
good answers in any class to anything. But what you will grab hold to is the one thing I say that doesn't really click or make sense. Because what happens when you do that is that it keeps the other 20 things that would have totally cleared up whatever you're trying to figure out from being healed.
No, but it's a life. It's not a class thing. It's a life thing.
It's
It's a life question. It's like
It's
the
right.
thing that I
It's-
thought that I
right.
didn't want
Right.
became
Right.
maybe I do, and then became. It's not that you didn't want it; it's that you do, but you didn't think you were supposed to want it.
Well,
That's what I
well,
mean.
one thing you
It's
can
not
tell.
really a question.
Well, even if it's not, whatever it is, just realize that when you're beginning to see it correctly, whatever it is that you're thinking, when you're beginning to see it correctly, you will know it because you will feel lighter and more relieved. So if you don't feel lighter and more relieved, you can assume it's your ego that's giving you the answer. And I don't even have to know what you were thinking. You know what I'm saying? That's why the Course said there's no private thoughts. No matter what you think, no matter what you're thinking, if you come to a conclusion that makes you feel more fearful or heavier, you are looking at it incorrectly and you didn't hear the answer from God. That's all you got to do. Go by your feeling. Did I hear it correctly, or do I feel more peace? And I mean, and when I say feel more peace, I mean it's like a peace behind any kind of conflict that would even come up. That even if it was a conflict, you were still feeling behind it. You'd be going, I'll be all right. It's gonna be all right. So you can tell where you emotionally land lets you know which side of your mind you're using, whether you're using the right or the wrong side. And God's will for you is perfect happiness. Thank you for coming. Oh, have mercy. Woo! Helping me so much. You're helping me so cute too.